is extraordinarily woke, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
But you don't seemingly like your own character, so she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
The star, Rachel Zegler, is unbelievably charmless in public.
She was, as woke as they are.
She just sounds bitter and angry.
I don't think they're going to buy it. I don't think they're going to watch it. I don't think they're going to like it.
Every time she speaks, she gets less likable.
This truly is the worst casting, maybe, in the history of the film industry.
Rachel Zegler, she's an asshole.
You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up.
Then 1 minute on Snow White and how it totally imploded at the box office this weekend.
Rachel is literally the star of a Disney movie, and she acts like she's some sort of victim, and that's the sort of mentality that is just poisoning people's minds. Like, she acts like her life is so bad.
I truly do believe that. There's something wrong with her. She's disturbed, she's unhappy, and she thinks it's about feminism and the patriarchy and about abortion. But the reality is she's just not stable, like the majority of people in Hollywood. They're just not stable human beings. I would highly advise that you boycott this film, no matter how much your children love Snow White.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business. Thanks.
They spent $170 million to make the thing, and it had the lowest opening, under $50 million, of any of these live-action Disney remakes that they've ever had.
And, you know the saying, go woke, get broke, and Disney's going to lose money on this movie. And I believe it only made less than $1 million in China.
If Disney wants to make more woke films that tank at the box office, they are more than welcome to do that, but maybe think of an original idea.
A few lessons for Disney. Number one, stop cannibalizing all your old IP. Like, it's really bad. It's really bad business. Number two, please stop changing all of the historic plots, which actually have meaning to generations of people, to instead become generic woke story about how woman leads revolutionary uprising and she don't need no man.
What if one rising star managed to destroy a Disney classic before it even made it to theaters? That's exactly what happened with the live-action Snow White. Touted as Disney's next billion-dollar crown jewel, it had the budget, the legacy, the hype, until it turned into one of the most embarrassing flops in Hollywood history. And at the center of it all, Rachel Zegler. This wasn't just a weak box office debut. It was a complete meltdown, led by a lead actress who alienated fans from the very start.
Constantly say things that are just atrocious because they're looking for attention and they can never have enough of it. They can never have enough of it.
People weren't just annoyed, they were furious. The moment Zegler started shading the 1937 classic. In interviews, it was obvious she wasn't here to celebrate a legacy. She was here to tear it down. Disney thought they'd cast their perfect modern princess, talented, award-winning, and fresh-faced. But the moment her name was announced, Backlash exploded. Snow White is supposed to be pale as snow, one viral comment read. That single post ignited a firestorm that never went out.
Disney of inserting unnecessary feminism into classic fairy tales.
She's not going to be safe with the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird.
And just like that, the fairy tale collapsed before it even began. Fans expected grace and charm. Instead, they got lectures and attitude. The red flags were there from day one. Zegler didn't just accept the role, she criticized it. By 2022, production was already plagued by delays and a set fire that cost millions. But Zegler only made things worse. Rather than promote the remake, she attacked the original film, the one that built Disney's empire.
Big bad feminists now are telling us that's ridiculous. How dare you want to meet a handsome prince and be swept off of your feet and live happily ever after? No, you should want to be the prince. You should want to go out and fight the bad guys with a sword.
It's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
They have been making this film for a very long time because it's just been so scandalized. And so they had to basically put it on ice after people were firstly outraged by Rachel Zegler speaking ill about the prior film, the film that she was remaking. And it's such a weird thing for their whole pitch as feminists to be is like the best thing you can strive to be as a man. Everything will be great once we just act exactly like men. There's nothing special about being a woman. Let's just be men. It just doesn't feel like we're winning.
So no prince or a different kind of prince?
I'm sure a lot of people will assume it's a love story just because we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yeah. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. that. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Who the hell are you to say all of Andrew's could get cut? Like, who are you?
Oh my God.
Are you Disney? I've read your book, and I have. It's a phenomenal book. You're losing generation of loyal viewers. When you think about Snow White, what is the premise? What is the story?
It's a love story.
It's a love story. It's a dream for a girl to grow up and a man falls in love.
I'm really upset that the biggest theme here is that it's anti-men. She called him a stalker.
She went viral for calling the prince a stalker and the story anti-woman. She bragged in interviews that the new version had no love story because it was all about an independent woman narrative. But this wasn't girl boss energy. It came off as smug and preachy. Disney's PR team must have been in panic mode. The hashtag #NotMySnowWhite exploded. And just when it couldn't get worse, Peter Dinklage jumped in, calling out Disney for using the dwarfs at all. Within days, they were erased, replaced with awkward CGI creatures. Zegler chimed in like she'd just saved the world, but Little People actors weren't celebrating. They were furious.
He's gone on to talk about this film numerous times, how she once thought Snow White was creepy, she doesn't like the prince, she thinks she should get paid more because she has to wear that dress, she should get paid for streaming, for every hour she has to wear the dress. I mean, talk about biting the hand that feeds you.
The response was brutal. The so-called magical creatures looked cheap, like CGI from a bad mobile game. Memes roasted them instantly. Zegler? Too busy acting like she was rewriting the rulebook. What fans saw wasn't empowerment, it was chaos. The production was already a mess with reshoots, delays, and money vanishing like pixie dust. Then Zegler made another infamous comment. She's not going to be saved by a man. That line? It broke the internet again. Fans didn't want modern lectures and ball gowns. They wanted classic Disney charm.
And they got even crazier, and they decided that the dwarves in Snow White weren't woke enough, okay?
These are roles made for actors of my stature. I can't go out for the Harrison Ford or the George Clooney roles because that's not for me.
Right.
And now it's taken away. I don't feel that's right.
Did the dwarfs make it or no?
Well, the CGI dwarfs did. Of course, that goes back to the original controversy where Peter Dinklage, a very talented little person actor, said, why are we doing that? We've hired a Latina actress to be Snow White. That's progressive. But you're going to hire little people to play the dwarfs? That just seems like a step backwards. And then, of course, Disney instantly buckled and said, okay, we're going to add magical creatures.
That's what was missing. Respect for a story that touched generations. And every time Zegler opened her mouth, it chipped away at that legacy. What should have united audiences only divided them more. As Snow White crawled toward its 2025 release, Zegler had the chance to lay low. Instead, she jumped on Instagram, right after the US election, posted a moody pic, and told Trump supporters, "May you never know peace." That post, it detonated the internet. Megyn Kelly went off on air. This rude little punk needs to go. Boycotts reached full speed.
Is this process now where it's like in order to be inclusive, you have to completely destroy storylines, completely destroy franchises. I don't believe in that. I don't think that consumers believe in that either.
And what did Zegler do? The classic PR move. She posted a teary-eyed apology, blamed her emotions, and called it a moment of weakness. But nobody bought it. The apology flopped harder than the trailers. Behind the scenes, the panic was real. Crew members started leaking details. One insider said she wouldn't take direction and acted like she was above it all. Another revealed the reshoots weren't technical. They were trying to salvage her performance. Test audiences hated it. Merch wasn't moving. Parents didn't even want to take their kids.
You're rich. We're not. We're trying to be extras, or, we're in Johnny Knoxville's Jackass if we're lucky. And so for them, they're like, you're not going to cast us to be inclusive and progressive. But these guys at Disney, they're not that bright. They're not that smart. And we see that because they can't come up with any new IP.
Leaked footage showed a washed-out fantasy world that looked more like a bad Instagram filter than a magical kingdom. Fans laughed at the CGI. The dialogue sounded like it was written from a viral tweet thread. And Zegler? Still posting selfies, cryptic captions, and acting totally unbothered. What should have been Disney's next billion-dollar success became a dumpster fire with a lead actress pretending nothing was wrong.
Not entitled to call for Trump supporters to be harmed. Like, you are actually not entitled to do that. And so let me just remind you, Rachel Zegler, of what the map looks like, just so you can understand when your Disney movie is coming out, how many people you are wishing harm upon. Like, this is America right now.
Then came opening weekend. $43 million. Not terrible. Unless your budget was over $200 million. Disney needed at least $150 million just to breathe. But theaters were empty. No kids in princess dresses, no excitement, just disappointment. Critics called it a woke bore and slammed the cheap CGI. Even Gal Gadot couldn't save it. The movie had no soul. Fans were done. Unsold dolls flooded the clearance bins. What should have been a nostalgia hit became a warning sign.
Love you through these 4 years as best I can. F Donald Trump. Yeah, totally stable thing for her to be posting, wishing harm upon Trump voters, wishing that we have no peace.
At CE, this point, let's be real. Studios need to muzzle their talent. One rogue actor with a mic can burn $200 million to the ground. Hollywood was rattled. Disney execs reportedly held emergency meetings. Leaks hinted at layoffs, canceled remakes, and creative resets. One insider put it bluntly, nobody wants to touch another classic after this. And Zegler? She was labeled a walking red flag. Talented, sure, but no studio wanted the baggage that came with her.
And they postponed the release of this thing, Ben, for a year because their star, Rachel Zegler, was so unlikable, told all Trump supporters that they could off, excuse me, but she did. That was just in November. They didn't even know she was going to do that one. Said she hated Snow White, mocked the fact that there was a prince, and that she falls in love as opposed to leaning into her own power.
Now Disney's dumping Snow White onto streaming, praying to clean up the mess. But the internet isn't forgetting. Memes, clips, commentary, it's everywhere. Zegler went from rising star to late night punchline. She's got a new title now, Fairy Tale Wrecker. The revival Disney dreamed of ended up a flaming wreck. And the fallout? It's only getting worse.
Mia River, she's just exactly everything that we can't stand.
Things didn't just stop at the box office. The damage spilled into Disney's brand. Other studios took notes. Don't do this. Internally, Disney was a mess. A leaked memo titled, "What Went Wrong?" reportedly circulated across departments. Media outlets dragged Zegler. Think pieces. Dropped. Are reboots dead? Is Disney out of touch? And fashion brands quietly pulled her from ad campaigns. Stylists dropped her. Events stopped inviting her. This wasn't just bad PR. It was a silent blacklist.
Just can't close your mouth. You just can't be sane, even when you do open your mouth. I think this girl does not deserve a feature-length film, but rather she deserves to be in a padded cell.
You want to trash that legacy? That company that now Disney has screwed up the last 5 years trying to please a small percentage of minorities in America? Yeah, we're sick of it. So the more you do this, Disney, Iger, Rachel Zegler, whatever her name is, yes, this is exactly the backlash you're going to get from parents who have kids who are your customers. You're supposed to win parents over. You're talking to kids, the parents pay for the tickets. You have to be a dummy as a marketer to be saying, if I'm Bob Iger, you know what we're doing? Emergency meeting. We're putting Snow White on hold for 2 years, and guess what? Pay her a couple $1 million, go away. We're gonna bring another person to play this role because you just screwed this thing up.
Zegler's response? More vague quotes, artsy reels, and posts pretending everything was fine. One showed her laughing on set, captioned with, "Stand in your truth." The comments were savage. Clown emojis, "You ruined Disney," and "Read the room." Even, her loyal fans started checking out. What once felt like confidence now just felt delusional. Meanwhile, Disney sat on a movie they couldn't promote, starring an actress they couldn't control.
All these studios have to stop letting their actors loose. I mean, honestly, just shut your actors up.
And still, no real accountability. No sincere reflection. Just cryptic vibes and silence. Rumors swirled that her agency was quietly pulling back. Translation: they're over it too. This wasn't just a flop. It was the collapse of audience trust. Disney lost $200 million. Fans felt insulted. And Rachel Zegler? She became the cautionary tale no studio wants to repeat.
Guess what? Nobody grew up with that crap, and nobody's all that interested in it. It's very good for people to learn that women need men, and also that men need women. I don't know why this fell out of passion, and we're not allowed to just say that sort of stuff anymore, but it actually happens to be the truth.
Fairy tales are supposed to end with happily ever after. But this one, it ended in flames. Zegler landed a dream role and spent the next year trashing it. She alienated fans, clashed with co-stars, and sparked controversy at every turn. The CGI dwarfs were mocked. Rumors said even Gal Gadot was fed up. It was non-stop drama, a disaster that just...
Essentially a box office dud. The regime that decided that wokeness needed to be infused in every movie. If they keep going along this path, they're going to go bankrupt.
And the final result? An $87 million haul on a $200 million budget. That's not a flop. That's a collapse. Rachel's Hollywood shine is fading fast. Disney's licking its wounds. And fans, they're done. Some hated the casting. Most hated the attitude. But everyone agrees. This remake was a train wreck. Merch is rotting. Streaming numbers are dead. And Rachel Zegler has become the symbol of everything that went wrong with Hollywood remakes. This isn't a fairy tale ending. It's a warning shot for the entire industry.